Podcast, podcast, podcast with Cass and Dom. The
The
push.
push.
I was hoping you were going to go for a long solo there. It's been a while.
We nailed it last time. It's this fucking internet. I don't know.
Oh, the mouth took you like 3 seconds. So,
Yeah.
hi everybody, welcome back to The Push. And it's been a few weeks since we had
Hey.
an episode. I apologize for that. Most of the problem was due to me rolling over on my laptop while I was doing work and breaking the screen. So I was without a laptop for 2 weeks, which meant that we weren't recording for 2 weeks because I'm too lazy to do it anywhere else. So sorry about that, Cass. And to our very few but loyal listeners, thank you so much for hopefully sticking with us. And what's going on,
Yeah,
dude?
we gotta relearn. We gotta re-educate them on who we are. Not much, man. Just
You
it's a
watching
nice lazy weekend with not much wrestling, so we're doing football instead, right? You got the game
I was
on.
going to say, dude, it's playoff Sunday, and
Yeah.
if unfortunately the last time that we did this, when we did round one of our welcome back episode,
All of 5 minutes ago when we failed.
but it was before everything that currently just happened. So as we're recording right now, we're at the end of the first quarter of the Ravens versus Titans game, and basically half of what we recorded and just lost was me right as the game was starting, talking about how the Tennessee Titans are probably my dark horse to win the entire Super Bowl because of how they have such a strong offensive line and such a strong running game that when it comes down to it, that's the most important thing in football. And, anybody can be off or have a good day or a bad day. So when it comes to playoff games, you just go with whoever the hot hand and wherever the mismatch is on the defense that you can exploit. But the most important things that you can bring to the table, I think, in playoff games are clock management.
Playoffs.
Well,
I did it
clock
again.
clock management, which comes from a reliable, healthy offensive line and a strong running game, and nobody does either of those better right now or this season than the Tennessee Titans. So I went through a long diatribe about that, and then now they're up 7-0, and um, they just picked off oh my god, Jackson on
Malcolm Butler picked it up. I saw that. I had rebooted my internet because apparently in North Carolina internet's garbage. So I just rebooted it, and when it came back on the screen, the play was already over, and they were up. So I was like, well, fuck, okay, that happened.
so they're looking good right now, but if of course it's of course we lost the portion where it would be early enough for me to look cool about it. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's my team to win. If I put money down on this, I would be putting it on the Titans. But how about you? Where's your heart? Where's your heart lie right
Well, we discussed this earlier. My gut is apparently taking up residence in Buffalo. My heart still resides in Atlanta, but it's broken and it's in pieces down there as usual. But my brain, oh, my gut, I wanted to go, really wanted to go say, what the fuck, Cleveland, but come on. We know that's not going to happen. Sadly, I think it'll be Pittsburgh today.
now? Honestly,
I'd
man,
love for
I think
I would love for Cleveland, dude. I like Baker. I like Cleveland. I like everything about them. But I mean,
yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised to see Cleveland upset Pittsburgh today, though.
didn't they do that last? Did they play last? They played last week. Did
Who
Cleveland win or
cares?
did Pittsburgh win last week?
Can't compare a Week 17
I'm
game.
just asking who won last week.
I don't know because once the Eagles lost all playoff hopes, I stopped caring about the regular season.
Mhm.
Usually, I like watching the last few games to see who's going to get in and out
Yeah.
on like the wild card. But I Eagles weren't in. I just only cared about college football until the playoffs start. Now, once the playoffs start, I like a lot of the teams that are in it right now.
Yeah.
But either way, you're not playing the same Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 17 of the season. They're not even like caring about all they're caring about is
No.
keeping their players healthy.
Oh, I know that, and that's what I was getting at.
Right.
Kind of. Is it's not the same Pittsburgh team that Cleveland had last week, and
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike Tomlin's going to have probably a lot better matchup or game plan going into this matchup than he did last time for exploit whatever he saw last week and fix whatever they saw that was wrong on them. I just think that that's just a better team.
Should we
So,
talk wrestling at all,
but
or are we strictly a football podcast now?
judging by your shirt, I think we should probably go into wrestling at some point.
You know, it's
But
funny.
I'm
I
good with
actually,
football.
well, let's keep talking football because I actually put some. I was gonna wear my Notre Dame jersey as like a joke and
Mhm.
talk about how I was
Yeah, because Notre
protesting.
Dame's a joke, right? Oh, my bad. Sorry. I'll just back that up a little. I'm gonna walk that back. I'm gonna walk that back. Dadgummit blowout. Remember that meme I sent you? That
I
was a
was
good one.
what's it called? I was gonna wear my jersey and say I was protesting the results of the Rose Bowl, and that I even was gonna go to Pasadena and storm the Rose Bowl, but
hmm hmm
nobody told me that they had the game at the AT&T Stadium, so I missed it.
You got to sign up for the newsletter. Yeah.
Don't you hate it when your protests just don't go the way you want them to? But I'm not gonna get
Uh,
political. Not gonna get political.
that's the American way. That's what happens in America. That's the American dream.
Oh man, but
America was built off protests that didn't go the right way.
let's not do that though. It's been so long since we literally were just the two of us on here talking wrestling, man. We had
Yeah, and we picked a weekend where there's not much wrestling to talk about other than that X Super X Cup.
yeah, which was awesome. Ace Austin
Hey,
walks away
who
with the
won it?
title. Ace
Huh?
Austin
Look at that.
is winning the title, but that I'm really looking forward to. I kind of stayed away from seeing the rest of the results because when I was looking on Twitter to see like the clips and the gifs of the
Yeah, yeah.
matches, uh, all the matches looked so solid, especially the Moose Willie Mack match, and there's one knockouts match that I really wanted to see. But there's a few matches that I'm looking forward to throwing on later tonight as kind of like in the background while I'm doing my reading after the football games are over.
Yeah.
But dude, that and then they got a pay per view coming up, like a huge
2
pay per view coming
weeks.
up soon, which
2
Kenny
weeks,
Omega is
right?
going to be on.
Hard to kill. And then 2
Mhm.
weeks or
Yeah,
something. Is it? I don't know. It's in a couple weeks maybe.
I think you're right. 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Is it the same weekend as the Rumble or is it the weekend after or the weekend before the Rumble?
Well, the Rumble's in 3 weeks, 3 Sundays from now.
Is that so?
Hmm. Yeah, it's on the
31st.
31st. We're on the 10th now. So I
So Hard to
believe
Kill is the week before,
it's two
right?
Sundays from now, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, I could be wrong. That's
Saturday.
my
I
motto.
think I think Impact's been on Saturday lately. I think they've been doing their pay-per-views on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought you meant Impact, like the show. But yeah,
No, they're pay-per-views. So I think they've
um,
been doing it.
but as far as us doing shows, we've done
It's been a
one.
while.
Yeah, it has been a while. We've done one in a few weeks. All my fault because of my laptop just blowing up in my sleep. Um,
And there was holidays and extenuating holidayical circumstances that got in the way of us recording. I was in a spot where for 3 days when I was trying to record over Christmas, and we actually had fucking no internet at all. So like
mhm.
none, like worse than the internet situation earlier today, where like it was a shitty internet. It was like non-existent internet. So it was like going back in time. So
Yeah, and then
I'm
you
gonna take some blame on that.
yeah, but don't take a lot of it because you were without it for 3 days, and then I roll over my computer and break my screen, and without a computer for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, it
probably
is your
my
fault.
fault. But
Yeah.
right before we, right before we lost touch for a few weeks, we had an awesome interview with Ethan Page, and
The homie Ethan Page. Yeah, dude, that was a good one. I like that guy. He's fun.
dude, he's awesome. And I don't know if it's official or not if he's staying with Impact, but he has a match with the notorious, infamous Karate Man that's happening on Impact programming. So we were
It's
we're
gonna be
to
a
assume
cinematic
that
masterpiece.
hey, at least for the time being, he's still with Impact, and Impact is definitely all the better for it. Because if they let
Yeah.
him go, that's definitely going to be definitely a big loss to their roster. But
Yeah,
but dude,
but
but speaking of Impact in general, we got. No, I don't want to cut you off. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I have no idea
Well,
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say,
let me segue because I actually, believe it or not, have some talking points today. Are you proud of me?
yeah, because I said, hey, you should come up with some talking points and just blindside me with them.
But I meant, are you proud of me for
I am
actually
proud of you.
for
I'm proud of
actually?
you for doing it. Yeah.
Usually you tell me to do stuff and I just
And
don't
you're
do
like,
it.
yeah, I got you. I got you. And then it's just like, you're like, yeah, let me look that up as we're sitting here talking. And you're like, oh, yeah. No, you
I,
did good. You did good.
but no, one of the first things I wanted to write down to talk about is how I believe that 2021 is going to be a very, very big year for Impact. And I don't think that's necessarily a shocking prediction, but if Impact continues through 2021 the way they've ended 2020, And that's even without all of the conjunction with AEW that they have now. I just mean strictly if they can keep putting on the type of programming, the type of storytelling, and give us the type of compelling characters that they did through the second half of 2020, then they're going to be solid and strong in 2021. But then you add in the fact that now they're going to have all these extra mainstream eyeballs that are wrestling fans that have given up on them in the past, that haven't bothered to come back. But now they're going to have to come back because major AEW storylines will be playing out on Impact Television. Not necessarily maybe like you need to watch Impact to know what's going on AEW, but I think this is very, very much going to be for the benefit of Impact and for the benefit of AEW, but really for Impact to get so many more people that will like the product, but just haven't gotten off their ass to watch it yet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I think between the partnership that they have with AEW, the revitalization of the Bullet Club on American television, I think that's going to be huge. And
What are they going to call themselves? They can't really call themselves Bullet Club. What do you think they'll call themselves?
I don't know
I
the
think. Wait, no, no.
world of new orders.
No, 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 no. What do they call themselves? Something elite. They.
Was it the BC Elite or like the OG Elite?
No, it was like a better form of elite or whatever is what they were considering themselves. I think when they with Kenny and the Good
Elite
Brothers.
Platinum.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I mean? Like
They
Bud
should call
Light's version
themselves
of
Elite Magnum.
no. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I guess where that Bucks thing goes this week. So that was interesting to see the you know.
I know, right? I shouldn't. I shouldn't leave you hanging there when I'm wearing an NWO
You
shirt.
did. So I turned that into that, but we're good. Did you like? I liked Tama Tonga talking shit, kind of.
Oh, did
And
he?
all
I
the
missed that. What'd he say?
well, so Bad Luck Fale tweeted out like something about the cease and desist because remember they supposedly got a cease and desist for doing that.
Okay.
And then Tama Tonga tweets out, "That's that's still my favorite lie ever."
Interesting.
That there was no cease and desist, that they just did that to get more heat and like us about the whole thing and to make WWE look bad. I think that's just the story there, maybe.
Wow.
But then people are like, you just obviously didn't read their book. I'm like, well, Thomas said it. Like, I don't have to
Yeah.
read their book to know what Thomas said. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, you can say what you want in a book, whatever. I could write a book and tell you whatever the fuck you want me to tell you. But
Dude, speaking of books, I really like that a few of our upcoming episodes are going to be book reviews. So
yeah,
I don't have a timetable for that because now that I'm back in the semester, my leisure reading is gonna take a back seat. But one book that I am excited to read is from a Body Slam contributor, actually, our boy Andy Moore. Is he a Body
oh
Slam
yeah,
contributor? Yeah,
yeah,
no, because
yeah.
he has one of the new podcasts that are on Body Slam that you can get. In addition to
I
ours.
didn't realize it was Andy that wrote the book. I thought it was somebody else that wrote the book that Andy had on his podcast.
Oh, see that then I got
That guy's name was
confused.
Andy too.
That's what I
That
originally
guy's
thought.
name's
Okay,
the guy Andy had that guy on his podcast,
I
and
got you.
that guy's name was also Andy.
All right,
I think it was
then
like Andy Starr or something, right?
this makes perfect sense because why would I put anybody over without screwing it up, right?
Yes, we gotta. That's your gimmick, and you do it so fucking well. I love it.
I
But no,
really do. Like without even trying. I'm
you're
just
like, you
so
know what I like to
naturally
do?
talented.
I'm gonna put everybody over, and it's like that's great, but that's not accurate. That's not accurate at all. But I love the effort, so we're good with it.
I just hope that we've been so lucky with the
So
guests that
much for
we've
getting
had.
that book sent to you now.
Well, and that's one thing. I told him that I want to pay for it because I
Yeah, I know.
don't ever want to look like I'm grubbing for stuff. But anyway, let me finish plugging it. Andy Moore is not the same Andy that you can catch on Tea and Tights, one of the many
Hold on a second.
podcasts that we have on bodyslam.net. In
Are we
addition,
sure that's the guy's writing name that wrote the book?
yeah,
I thought it was Andy Starr or something.
no, it's Andy Moore.
Pull it up.
I already did, and I wrote it down. The name of the book is London's Lovable Villain, the true story of Chuck Cocky Knights. And I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Cocky Knights. I'm really looking forward to this book because I believe he is a relative of the author. And
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
once we,
Andy is a relative of the guy that wrote the book.
right.
I know
So,
that.
no, and I
I
believe the
think.
guy who wrote the book is a relative of the subject of the book as well. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
maybe
So
it's all connected. I don't know.
stop trying to plug it. You don't know what you're talking about.
I'm
Leave that
stealing
to
your
me.
gimmick. I'm
Leave
stealing
that
your
to me.
gimmick.
But I've been in contact with him, so I'm very much looking forward to reading this book and then having him on to review it and discuss it with him. And there's also another book with somebody that you've been in contact with that I'm looking forward to reviewing that had to do with the Von Erichs, correct?
Right. Yeah, I think it was wrestling as a Von Erich, or hold on, what's the name of it? Yeah, Lance by Chance, wrestling as a Von Erich by Lance Vaughn and Vinny Barry.
And so
So Vinny reached out to me and asked if we would be interested in covering the book, and I would love to. So
yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
honestly I love reading about the Von Erich family. Um, it's so sad, but it's so beautiful to see that the new generation of the Von Erich family living out in Hawaii is still keeping the wrestling tradition alive and the family wrestling tradition alive in a healthy way. And I think that's so beautiful that, everybody associates the Von Erichs with so much family tragedy and so much heartache. So to see in current day the same family doing the same thing that made them so popular back then in a new way, but in such a beautiful way to see the family like healthy and doing well is so cool. Are they still in MLW?
uh, the Von Erichs. Yeah, I think so. And it was Andy Scott, London's lovable villain,
Oh
not Andy Moore.
shit! Write Andy Moore down
Andy
so
Moore is the
convincingly.
guy that did the
That has
podcast
TNT.
that had Andy Scott on. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Andy Moore is the Tea and Tights podcast guy that had the true story of the guy that wrote the book, Andy Scott, on. That's what I was trying to say the whole time. I was like, I don't think his name is Moore. I know Andy, the podcast guy's last name is Moore. I had to pull it up and look because I was like, man, I'm not gonna let this one.
I shouldn't
I'm
quit
not
my
gonna.
day job. I'll tell you.
I'm not gonna botch that. We're not gonna botch it before we push him. But yeah, no, Andy
So
Scott,
we'll fix it
London's
in
lovable
post.
villain. Yeah, no, we definitely can fix that in post. Easy. Just
But
there'll be just like a 45-second, just like,
we
and we just come right back in. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
let's get into something that makes me look better, and it's
Good
the
luck.
$999,000
I'm just gonna bring
Push
mine out every time.
Podcast predictions title. What's that? Your unofficial FTW title?
This is that. It's the FYT title, bitch.
If
Fuck
your
your title. Fuck your title.
So it's been so long since we had a show where we're talking about our show, because our last episode, obviously, we're talking about Ethan Page because that's what's important, right?
Yeah.
But when we have nothing, when we don't have Ethan Page on the show, we can talk
Mhm.
about ourselves. And all right, Mr.
I don't know.
Sexy.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Shawn Michaels it up all of a sudden.
We put the title on the line last at TLC. That was the last time we put this on the line.
Was that like 6 months ago?
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? Rating champ Shazza McKenzie, who she wasn't, or she phoned in her picks, and we had homie of the show Trevor Outlaw on, who vied for the title. He had a good showing, but not as good as me, who won it back, baby, in dramatic fashion. You're two-time
I demand a
Push
recount.
Podcast fan.
Recount.
Send it to the courts, man. Hey,
on
if you can get
Shaz's behalf, I demand a recount.
if you can get a court,
I smell an inside job.
find one, just one court to accept your theory, and we'll go from there.
Look, you're my legal counsel, so this is already fucked. I'm already fucked.
I do want to mention one more thing about Impact before we move on from them, and it's that they were able to re-sign Deonna Purrazzo, which also is probably not a shocker either, but very happy to see that she's continuing to have that platform and that they're putting so much of a spotlight on her. So just wanted to mention that and give a little nod to that for what that's worth. But I do want to move on from there. And even though I think we're going to see a much bigger and brighter impact in 2021, I think the one company that is most primed for the biggest boom is ROH. And a lot of people have been saying that, and really for a lot of the same reasons that I think about Impact.
This wouldn't have anything to do with your boy.
Well, and that is part of it. I was going to say I do have a bias, but I love the fact that Bry Johnson just recently re-signed with them, and I think he's a big. I love to see that it looks like ROH is understanding that he should be a big part of
Hmm. Yeah, dude,
the, the company moving forward.
you need to. Yeah, I mean, I think he's got big things coming. I mean, he's definitely an up and comer. So I think it does him good to stay there and just learn a little bit more from the people that are there and
Sure.
get a little bit more seasoned and experience, and then
But look,
see what's next.
he's a homie of the show, but it's
He
short
is
sighted to just go, oh yeah, they re-signed Brian Johnson, so they're going to be doing great. Because
good big things.
every company is more than one person, and I think for a lot of the same reasons that I just mentioned with Impact, the wrestling is always spot on. It's continuing to be that company that puts on quality matches from the people that you'll see on national television a year or two from now. And it's almost like Ring of Honor doesn't chase that national TV weekly deal as much as maybe they should. But in a way, it keeps that kind of like gritty luster to it, and it doesn't do them any good from a marketing standpoint. But I think they're going to continue to give people more and more reasons to seek them out, because it's not hard to find Ring of Honor wrestling. You can get it on the Fight app. You can get it on TV, like local networks
Yeah,
still have it on.
whichever Sinclair network you have on your area.
Yeah, so it's if it's the kind of thing where you're not going to come across it or set your DVR to it, but if you want to watch Ring of Honor, you can for free. And they have a bunch of other good young people that they're Danhausen is now there. I don't know what Workhorse's deal is. He's exclusive to MLW, I think. You would know better than I would. Did he
What?
sign with
Who?
MLW?
Who?
Warhorse? What did I say? Workhorse?
I don't know where he signed. Actually, I don't know. I was trying to think of is it they just re-signed Sumi whatever Sukai or whatever her name is? Is that what her name is? Yeah, Sumi Sakai. Ring of Honor re-signed her.
Okay. So they have a
They just re-signed a couple other people too. Sumi, Brian Johnson, and like three other people they've announced in the last like 2 weeks that they've re-signed. I'm slacking on it right now. I'm drawing a blank.
it seemed like around this time, was it around this time last year when they gave Marty Skrull that huge contract and all the keys to the
Marty's no
booking?
longer there.
I
Yeah.
know, but was it around this time last year, or was it later?
Yeah, it was around January last year. Yeah,
And it
or it was a little bit
seemed,
earlier. Or it was a little bit earlier.
well, regardless, even then at the time, it seemed like such a big gamble to invest so much in give one person the keys. And I
It
know
was
for
summer. Yeah, it was
okay,
summer.
but
Yeah, yeah,
either
yeah.
way, that probably couldn't have worked out worse for them than it did.
Hmm.
So in, the way that they really had to start from scratch in so many different ways, I think they're rebounding very nicely, and they have their last few pay-per-view. I mean, Final Battle was awesome,
Yeah.
and they have another paper. I forget the name of the one that's coming up, but they have something coming up in the next like month or so that's supposed to be good, I
Um.
think.
Yeah. Wait. What is their first pay per view that you usually? Because Final Battle, then it leads to. Oh shit, dude.
Isn't
Hang
it
on.
like
I'm going to look that up.
good?
That's gonna kill me. That's gonna kill me. I'm going to look up what their next show is. You keep talking.
But look, just the fact that I think they continue to remain the launching pad for big talent. And for a long time, it kind of seemed like the launching pad for the biggest talent was you make a name for yourself just big enough to get to NXT and you go through their developmental. But now, with so many other non WWE companies being legitimate promotions to not just wrestle, but to make money and to get exposure, Ring of Honor continues to be that stepping stone for the best talent to go to that don't necessarily need to like shy away from the indie scene to be able to make money.
Yeah.
So it's just happy to see. And obviously, for Philly reasons, I love to see a Philly based, well, they're not Philly based anymore, but a Philly founded company doing well and continuing to do well.
Yeah. The other guy that signed was Bateman. Uh,
Okay.
Part of Vinny Marsiglia's group. That guy re-signed. Amy Rose, that was with Kenny King, she re-signed.
Okay.
Bandito, he re-signed.
Yeah,
Mark
Bandito.
Haskins re-signed.
That's right. I
Mark
forgot
Haskins
about
re-signed.
Bandito. That's what I
You
mean.
got
They got a lot of good names.
you got
And
Bennett coming back. Dalton Castle just left though. Dalton Castle's testing out free agency. I saw that was announced today.
yeah, but I kind of get the feeling he's going to stay.
I think he's done his. If it was me, I think I would get out of there. I think he's run his course in Ring of Honor. You know what I mean?
I don't want to see him. I mean, well, look. I love Dalton Castle. At the end of the day, I just want him to make money and be happy, right?
I
But
think he would be a good AEW addition.
I worry that,
Could you imagine him and Peter Avalon together? How good that would be.
yeah, but like I worry that somebody who is a contender for the ROH title would then be a very entertaining person on AEW Dark. And I'm not saying they would bury him like he would like WWE, but I just think it's so crowded there that I know they're like you would know better than I would. Is AEW trying to get another show?
They've already got one coming. It's a third
That's
hour that's going to be on TNT. It's not going to be a third hour of Dynamite. It's a separate program, and it's not going to be Dark. So
that's
Dark's
okay.
going to stay, and it's going to be another show.
Okay.
They haven't really said exactly uh, what it is or when it is, but I think they're targeting August or October 2021. I think is when it's supposed to come out. So a year from their.
Right.
It seems like October seems to be their like release point because that's when Dynamite debuted. So
Do
it'll be
you
some.
do you happen to know from now if it is going to be a show that has like live wrestling on it, or if it's going to
Yeah,
be more of
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
talk show kind of? Okay.
It's a. I'm pretty sure it's a wrestling broadcast.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
then,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure because I think it was brought up that it was not going to be like a recap and like segment based like talk show kind of thing. That it was actually going to be a another wrestling program, but it was going to be not Dark and it was going to not be the another hour of Dynamite. So it's going to be a
Gotcha.
standalone program. I think they were trying to like. There's rumors that the like um title was like Elevation or something like that, but I think that ended up being a bust. I don't remember. I don't know if they know what it's going to be called yet, but or have announced it.
Okay. I
But
really like how Dark is a 2 hour long show with a whole bunch of matches on it that's on YouTube. I hope that doesn't change, you know?
yeah, no, I don't think it will. I think that's their plan. Is that's where they like find their next people to bring up. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Dark's good because they can sign a bunch. That's where their like lower tier guys are. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because they have like the they have a tier system is what they've announced or Cody revealed that like the highest tier are the people that get the graphic. The so and so is all elite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get the guys that show up but don't get the graphic. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
always there. But then the ones that are on Dark are like lower tier. They have like a contract just to kind of appear and they can go do
Right.
elsewhere shit. But
They're not on the official roster.
they're not on the official roster
Like our
yet.
girl Danny Jordan is a
Yeah,
regular on Dark, but they don't put
she's a
her on
tier
the
one.
roster yet, which
Yeah,
is a
she's a
shame.
tier
I
one for
really,
now.
yeah,
And Abaddon was like that at first too.
right.
And now she's got the like the so I mean, you know, it's one of those things where like Dark's a good spot to like for them to be harvesting and cultivating their own like homegrown talent and then finding people and bringing them up like kind of like they did with the acclaimed, you
Yeah.
know. And
Dude, I love the Acclaimed.
that's some talent right there. And, dude, how about NXT missing the ball on them because they like looked at Bowens
Yeah.
and did and passed on him.
And the thing is, like, what they're doing, it's not like they're reinventing the wheel or anything, but it's the kind of thing where either he's hitting it with the like mic work or he botches it and it's just another reason to get on him and give him like he can intentionally botch stuff just to be able to be a classic heel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, they
It
get such good heel heat with the shit talk. It's great.
Yeah. I keep moving my screen around because I
Yeah,
have
I like
sunlight
it.
coming in through my window.
But
Oh yeah.
that's all right. But yeah, no, I enjoy Dark. I hope they keep it like that too. I like that there's like 16 matches and you get to see a lot of this independent talent that
Yeah.
you know you might not be exposed to. No, most audiences might not be exposed to because of just casual fans and just don't get the exposure that they would normally get because they're not in their area or they don't go to live events or whatever, you know.
Especially right now during COVID when you can't make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's giving these
People are
guys
available.
so much. Then they're making money. You know what I mean? These
Yeah.
people are able to make money finally too because they're not able to wrestle elsewhere for the most part. So they can at least come to Dark and make a pretty good payday probably for that one day of filming.
Hmm.
But they do so much, man. Like when I was down there in November, I was gonna hang out with some of the boys after Dynamite, but they filmed 16 matches for Dark after Dynamite. Well, 13 because they did 3 before, so then they did 13 afterwards. So they were filming Dark until like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that and being like, "Damn, is
Yeah,
that every week like that?" Like, and that
it just
explains
depends.
why they cut it up so it's not. It doesn't like the match doesn't flow through the same way because probably the matches you see at the beginning are the same matches that they're filming at the end. You know? And that's
Yeah,
why
like
it
they
makes sense
do.
when they'll have like 3 people watching certain matches, but they'll have like 25 watching another because like
Yeah,
at a
because the ones
certain
they
point,
do
people just
pre-dark,
yeah.
well, because what they'll do pre-dark. So the ones they, I mean, pre-Dynamite. So before Dynamite, they'll record one or two, like they used to do with live in the arena, because
Mhm.
they would do that in the arena when you would go during when everybody could be there and
Right.
before the pandemic shit. They would do one match before Dynamite and then three afterwards, and that was your four that they would do for Dark.
Mhm.
But now since they've changed it up, they've changed the format for Dark to where now you get like all 16 matches, but they still do for the live audience that's there for Dynamite. You get one or two before Dynamite, and then usually nothing afterwards. At least there wasn't last time when I was down there. They just pretty much wrapped up as soon as they were done because they had to record 13 matches afterwards without the audience.
I gotcha.
But yeah, so like the audience, the crowd you get that's out there around the ring for a few of those matches, or those are the matches that were recorded before Dynamite, because all the people that are going to be at the crowd and Dynamite are there, and then afterwards it's cold and it's late, so everybody's backstage work getting ready to work too.
Right.
Because a lot of those people were like the Dynamite people were in the audience and they're not going to be there for the Dark. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I mean, that
yeah,
makes sense. Let me ask you, because I didn't watch any of Wrestle Kingdom. Did you get to
I
see
watched a
any of
little
it?
bit. I watched the first night, most of it until I passed out in the co-main event at like 6 a.m. Because
Yeah.
yeah, but in the second night, I made it a point just to watch. I was stayed up. I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to watch it again. I hadn't slept. I slept like 3 hours from the night before. I'd barely gone to sleep.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm going to watch this. But I made it sure that I at least got through Chase's match.
Okay.
So I watched Chase's match the second night, which was the first match of the show.
Okay.
And
How
then
was that? Because I was wondering how his match went.
oh, it was good. It was good. They did a good. I mean, they did a good storyline too, where it was
Right.
like it was Chase and Fale, of course, in the match, and
Mhm.
they, we're gonna work together, bad guy style. And then, of course, like in true bad guy fashion, they don't help each other. I thought you were gonna help me win. No, I thought you were gonna help me win. And then they turn on each other and fight, and then Yano steals the match or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, steals the win. So it was one of those like he low blowed him, rolled him up, and then like yeah, it was one of those kind of things. So it was good. You know what I mean? And then there's
Yeah.
still, of course, Bullet Club's still tight, but it was one of those ways just to like a good storytelling, match moment
Yeah. I kind of,
to
I kind
prolong
of,
that feud.
I kind of saw
And
it
it
going that way.
yeah, it
But
builds that feud too that they have with Yano.
I was gonna say, yeah, it just lends itself to, because man, Wrestle Kingdom, like, I feel like the last few years, a little bit more and more, like they always say, it is the culmination of the year storylines, and then everything starts anew, and then they have the
New
next
Year's Dash just starts over.
right New Year's Dash. But I feel like the last few years, like Wrestle Kingdom doesn't necessarily end storylines as fluidly as they used to. I feel like every once in a while,
Yeah.
like they bleed through more and more now. So who knows?
Yeah,
But
and I'm interested to see what's up with Jay White, because after night two Wrestle Kingdom, when he came up short, he was in that post match interview, press conference interview. He said he was done, and then on Dash, him and Chase and everybody wrestled in that tag match, that 6-man or 8-man tag, and they lost.
mhm.
And then they just kind of like got Jay out of there, like kind of like took him out. The Bullet Club did. They kind of just like exited together, solidarity, but like to get him out of there without like they didn't do the turn on everybody thing, because usually that's what they did when AJ was leaving and Kenny, whoever everybody left, they attacked and beat him up and sent him out, but didn't happen. So I think Jay's probably going to stay. I just don't really know exactly what it's going to mean storyline wise. So,
I think he's going to stay too. And
but
I think a lot of
I
this,
still want to go back and watch it.
but I think a lot of the
Oh, you watching
strategy in
this?
that. Yeah, I know. About to
That's
tie it
good.
up.
That's good.
I think a lot of the
That's
strategy
good.
though with
Yeah.
Jay White is honestly, I think it's behind the scenes strategy to try to get AEW American, not AEW, American New Japan fans to go on Twitter and talk about Jay White in any NXT circles, AEW, like to get that American
Yeah.
buzz so that other people that don't watch New Japan but are on Twitter then have Jay White on the tip of their tongue so that when he stays in New Japan, it gives them a reason to want to go back and see what he's doing over
Yeah.
there, which is
Yeah, I
smart.
think his contract ends at the end of the month. Yeah, I think it's up at the end of the month. So we'll see in 2 weeks or 3 weeks what he ends up doing, I guess.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I mean that's usually the way it goes. It's always right around Rumble time, and it's always the big question. Oh, they're gonna
will he
do.
show up?
Let's segue that.
Yeah.
Let me point out the fact that I'm segueing.
Rumble.
Dude,
You'll be
I
good at it.
honestly, I love the Royal Rumble. I get so
I know you do.
excited for it every year. I've been doing.
I like to gamble, so I'm excited about your pool. So
Oh, no monies, no monies,
I mean, to
purely for
play
fun.
fun for Royal Rumble fun.
I'll
That's not
since you put
illegal.
me
It's
on,
not illegal.
I'll
I was like, what
explain
are you
that.
talking about? It's not illegal. Everybody does. That's
So
like fantasy football.
the way that it works is there are 10 slots available, and you can share a slot and do however you do, but I keep it at 10 slots so that everybody can get 3 picks, and everybody gets 1 pick in the number 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, so that nobody gets 3 crappy picks and is just out of it from the beginning. And you pick all the numbers out of a hat, and everybody that comes over, or I guess this year everybody who's watching it on Zoom or whatever, because I still want to have my Royal Rumble party, but
Mm.
obviously it's not going to be the same. um, but the way it works is, it makes it fun for everybody to come over and hang out and be invested in the match and the pay-per-view, even if they don't like wrestling, or even if they don't like WWE. um, you don't have to know anything going into it. You don't have to have any kind of strategy to win, and it makes it purely random.
Hmm.
Uh, but I love the Rumble every year, like just the feeling of getting into WrestleMania season. And I feel like for a lot of our younger years, it was always like when WWE decided to pick up the ball and start like writing storylines that made sense again. So it made
Wait,
Raw and
when did they do
SmackDown.
that?
Well, I mean, historically, like
Oh, you
the
mean when they
storylines
used
always
to?
pick up
Yeah, back in the
around.
day when they used. Okay, yeah.
So the week to week
'Cause-
programming is always better to watch, between this time of year. And, I'm really looking forward to it. But who do you think is going to win this year? Because I always love it on the years where it's really wide open.
Well, you won last year with your fucking boy.
Drew McIntyre. I'm
Hmm.
not. I'm talking about which wrestler do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? Not who do you think is going to win my Royal Rumble pool?
Let's think. Uh, it's usually it has a lot to do with who do you think is going to be getting that like big push to Mania, and it's usually written on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this so and so is going to win because it's guaranteed that they're going to need that Mania moment push match. But
But the
this
fact
year,
that there's 2 titles makes it like you can
I
win the
know that's what I'm
Rumble
saying.
and not
Yeah,
be in the main event at WrestleMania, and
that's the
not
thing. If
even
you,
be wrestling
that's the
against.
thing. They count it as a main event even if it's not the final
No,
match.
I know, but that's what I mean. It's less predictable because the match that
Yeah,
ends up being might not be the big marquee match for WrestleMania,
yeah.
and you might not even be wrestling against the champ, who's the champ at Royal, like a week or two
Mhm.
after Royal Rumble anyway. So,
Yeah, Shinsuke style.
hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what are we building towards this year. I mean, are we gonna have Bray Wyatt win?
I one of the things that I had here in relation to the Rumble is Adam Pearce is facing Roman Reigns for the title, which I love. I think that's awesome. And I
Mhm.
love that so far, a lot of Roman's opponents since he got the title, it's all been, with the exception of Kevin Owens, people that you wouldn't expect to see in that main event push, but
Mhm.
might deserve to be there for a pay per view. And at the same time, it lends itself to the question, when is Roman really going to have his first real challenge? And it could be that Roman doesn't necessarily, and that could be part of the storyline leading in, is that Roman is ducking a real challenge. And his first real contender, he placed his cousin there. His second real contender, he got a storyline WWE official. And these are the marquee matches that he's picking. So, but I run the Royal Rumble, and now you can't hide from me, Roman. Who would you? That's a potential storyline that I can see
Kevin
long
Owens.
term. Would it be KO?
Yeah,
I would
because that's the storyline right.
love that.
That's the storyline right now. That's the only one that they got that makes any sense. That's the only one that they've got that's got any interest, and that's what they're shooting for now. Is Kevin Owens was they put Adam Pearce into this just so Kevin Owens couldn't go, basically.
Well, I'm just hesitant to give that much credit to WWE when it comes to putting
Storytelling, yeah.
to putting that much faith, long-term faith in KO. But I mean, they've been giving him a lot. I mean, they gave him a
Dude,
match with
dude,
Seth last year at WrestleMania.
KO WWE wasn't even doing shit for COVID until KO fucking yelled at Vince about it.
Mm.
So I mean, obviously they really take him to be somebody of like stature and status in the
Good, they
company. So
should. I love KO,
I think
dude.
it's not far fetched to see Kevin Owens win the Rumble and face Roman. I think that's plausible
Yeah.
and makes perfect sense.
When I
I don't
say
see
take him
anybody else.
seriously, I mean write him seriously on
Oh, I know,
and
I know what you mean.
that could be because of injuries that he's had or anything. But all I mean is, the way that they wrote him as such a monster and such a threat when he was in NXT and when he first came up, and
Mhm.
then you know how it is. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around the thought that they would let him win the Royal Rumble and then be the foil to Roman Reigns 2 months later at WrestleMania and continue that storyline and put him in that much of a spotlight leading into the biggest show of the year. And that would obviously be the main event if that's the case, because I think Roman will get the main event spot. I don't think it's going to Drew this year. I think it goes to Roman because I think both people are going to be the champ at WrestleMania. I don't think
Yeah.
either one are dropping the title between now and then.
No, the only way you do it is if you somehow need to get a belt on Randy Orton to get that Edge Randy Orton blow off again that you were building towards, that you're supposed to have happen eventually at some point, because that was supposed to be a main event title match for WrestleMania. So unless they would somehow work their way back to that, I think that yeah, you're right.
I could really see them having that match without the title at this point, and their lead into that being that Randy's one of the final contenders, and then Edge comes out as a late entrant back in the Rumble again and throws Randy out and like throws himself over just to get Randy over. And like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't even care about winning. He just makes
But
sure
they
that
don't
Randy
need
loses. And then they have another
they
blow
don't
off
need
match
another
just like
grudge
last
match.
year.
They
No,
don't
they
need
don't
another
need
grudge
to.
match.
They don't need to, but why
The
not?
match needs to be, if they do it, it's to get another run on Edge and to get him another title run. You know what I mean? To give him a little bit one last run there here in his, because he's got another 1 year left after this year.
Maybe
His
Edge
last
wins
year
the
accounts for that.
Rumble and goes off against Roman then.
I wouldn't say it'd go against Roman. I'd say if anything, he stays to the brand and goes Drew so that we can get Randy Orton involved.
But do you think? I mean, that's two such classic baby faces unless Drew turns heel between now and then. Like you're not going to turn Edge heel. You're not going to have your main event WrestleMania match be two baby faces that respect each other.
Yeah, because that worked so well at WrestleMania 6.
Oh, what? 30 years ago?
Yeah, it didn't work then either.
You know,
But I don't know.
that's what I mean.
You
Though.
know
Like,
me and my
it's not the
predictions.
same world, though.
Don't ask me predictions. Obviously, you fucking know that.
That's right. That's right. I never do.
Don't ask me to predict things. I make my own belts because I
Stop
can't
trying
win.
to confuse people, man. What are you? What are you, the TNA champion here? Stop trying to confuse people.
Yeah,
This is
that's what
the
I just
title.
said.
This
I just said
is the one true title.
but mine looks better.
It
Point
does.
is, I can't win, so
It's upside down, dude.
I can't win, so I just cheat to win and make myself a winner the old-fashioned way, the American way.
That's the American way.
Create your own victory. So that's what I did.
Who do you think is going to win the women's? I'm looking forward to the women's because I think that's way more wide open than.
Who are the champs?
The Raw champ is Asuka. The SmackDown champ is still Sasha. And
Bailey wins.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'll tell you what. I would love Sonya to win because we know that she's back on TV. They just put it straight up. So she's there. Yeah. She's gonna even if she doesn't win, she's definitely going to get a huge push in the Rumble and go real big time. I think everybody is expecting that, which is maybe why they won't do it. But you know me, she's my favorite, so I really want to see her win. And
is this the year of the Lana?
I don't think they would give her the Royal
No,
Rumble.
That was a joke. And your silence was perfect for that joke.
I'm not trying to hate on her, but
why? Why not?
She's working hard. She's still there.
Look at it.
She could have left when her husband left. You know what I mean? Like
maybe not.
You don't think that she could make as much money?
You don't think they have different you think she re-signed when he left? You don't think they're
No, I don't think it's as simple as that, but I don't think that they would be showing her on TV and giving her the exposure that they are if they thought that she had the type of mindset that she would just be waiting out her contract and then leaving.
All they're doing is putting her through tables every week.
That's all you're seeing, but I don't know, man. I feel like people are too hard on Lana. I
She's
feel
not
like,
good.
and that's part of the reason why I respect her is because it's
I mean,
easy
she's
for,
trying. She's
dude,
definitely trying.
exactly, and it's
Trying
so
really hard,
easy.
and I appreciate that.
And when you're on national television getting hated on by schmucks
Like
from
me.
burner account, no, not even like you, like schmucks from like burner accounts that say hateful, despicable
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? And you still come to work each week when it's not like that's her only way that she can make money. Like she could just go do modeling
She
and
can't do
social
an
media
OnlyFans.
stuff.
Not
Like,
anymore.
but and exactly. So she could ask out of her contract, and yeah, they could refuse to give that to her, but they could also let her leave, like they did with Thea Trinidad. So it's I
wouldn't say
respect her
they
for that.
let her leave. She forced them to make a decision by not deleting her OnlyFans.
And then it
Big
happened.
difference.
And then it happened. And now she's
Yeah.
out of her contract, right?
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
that
that
was her
Lana,
doing, not really their doing. You know what I mean? They kind of
all
like,
I'm
she
saying
forced that hand.
is it's not like Lana doesn't have options where she can make money elsewhere.
Yeah,
And
dude. She'd make a
if
killing off that OnlyFans, my man.
look, I don't even mean like that. All I'm saying is she could have other streams of revenue and she's still showing up to work and putting in the time to get better, which is showing in the way that they're continuing to give her TV time and exposure.
Yeah.
If WWE didn't at least see that effort, they wouldn't waste their time on it like that.
Yeah, I'm busting your balls the way that
I
like
know.
people gave me shit about Eva Marie, because I died on that Eva Marie mountain. I was like, get off her back. She's not bad at wrestling. She's pretty. The whole the one that call that joke back. But no, yeah. Speaking of Eva Marie, she re-signed and has not debuted yet. Royal Rumble.
Really?
She re-signed in September.
Seriously? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That was a while ago, too. Wow. Was that like big news?
Eh.
Huh.
It was reported. Hold on, let me find. I'm gonna pull it up just to be sure on this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's September.
What if the Rumble starts with Lana and then Eva Marie?
October 12th, 2020. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it sounds like October. Sounds like she signed back.
Dude, I would love to see the Women's Rumble start with Lana and Eva Marie, and then both of them make it to the Final Four.
Oh God, there'd be at least they'd have a lot of people to come through to carry them to that point.
Or maybe they just shock a whole lot of people. You don't know how Eva Marie is as a wrestler. She's been gone, maybe training with gurus for the last 5 years. Maybe she's like the reincarnate of, I don't know.
Yeah, PW Insider reported it back in September and says that she's been to the Performance Center several times since September, and back in October she was undergoing medical testing that would be needed to be able to enter the Amway Center. It says she came to terms on the contract during the week of September 20th, 2020.
Okay. Let me get back to Roman Reigns. Do you think that his first real legitimate threat to the title will come prior to WrestleMania, or do you think that he stays kind of not? I don't want to say protected, but storyline protected until WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think what you got. Backlash is the next pay-per-view after the Royal Rumble, right?
I believe so.
They do Backlash, and then they go from Backlash.
Do they still have Fastlane?
Ooh, Fastlane is the after Backlash, so we'll have Backlash, Fastlane, Mania.
And that's part of the reason why I think maybe Kevin Owens isn't the WrestleMania plan, because they've been so hot with this beforehand that I'm worried that like it culminates before WrestleMania. You know what I mean? I'm worried that the end point isn't WrestleMania, it's before that.
I think we might get some like ridiculous like tag team stuff or something with Roman and like an Uso and whoever instead at one of these pay-per-views, because you can't singles match everything all the time. You got to build, but that's just my thinking, not theirs. They don't think the same way.
One WrestleMania match that I'm predicting is going to happen is Jimmy versus Jey Uso. I think Jimmy comes back to because if you notice, there are a few times where he's there and he's like reluctantly going along with it, but
Mm,
Jay's getting more and more evil each week and more buying into it. So I
mhm.
think you're going to see Jimmy come back and after being off for a few weeks and not seeing him at all, come back and be like, dude, what is this? Ain't you? You know what I mean? And it's going to lead to some friction between the two of them, and they're going to have their Matt versus Jeff WrestleMania 25 match. Uh,
Nice. Yeah. Then that's when he gets kicked out of the family, Roman style. I like it.
so I could see that happening. And for that reason, I definitely see the title staying on Roman until WrestleMania.
No,
Um,
yeah, definitely. You can't. You don't take the title off of him before WrestleMania. If you, no, there's no way you do. Mm.
Look, I would love to see Kevin Owens win the Rumble, but if that doesn't happen, say they go with, we're going to have Roman put somebody else over at WrestleMania. We're going to make a star. Is that star Keith Lee?
No,
Okay, who would you think that would be?
they're not gonna do that. They wouldn't put. They wouldn't make a star. They're not making. They don't make new stars.
Well, okay, well then, assuming that your top choice of Kevin Owens ends up not being the winner, who
Mhm.
would your second choice be as far as who you think they would go with?
AJ Styles.
Okay, yeah, he hasn't won a Rumble yet. That'd be cool. And you can play it with like old school Shawn Michaels and Diesel, where Omos is in there throwing everybody out for him if he's entrant as well, or even if he's not
I
an
don't know.
entrant, he just jumps in, doesn't even matter. He just jumps in and starts throwing people out for him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I
hate
would
that.
say. I would say they probably would do AJ if they don't do Owens, just because like I don't know. I think that you gotta. Their mindset is we have to have huge names in our big matches at WrestleMania, or we're not going to sell any tickets.
Mm.
So I think you got to keep going with that mindset. And I don't, are they still high on Keith Lee? I mean, he was sent back to the Performance Center. He's come back, but like, do you think they're high enough on him right now to do that?
That's the thing. I don't. But again, it's so wide open that I'm like anticipating being surprised in who wins. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting it to be somebody like Randy Orton or damn, he's the only one that comes to mind right now. But
Here's
like
my
the
question.
usual
Here's
suspects,
my
I would say.
question. I got something for you. I got something for you. When's Becky Lynch's baby due?
I think she already had the baby, didn't she? I think she like recently had the baby.
Yeah. Okay. She already had the baby. Yeah, you're right. There you go. You're right. So Seth Rollins comes back at the Rumble also. He's on SmackDown. So what if Seth Rollins wins? And there's your Seth Rollins Roman matchup.
Oh wow, that's a good call. That's a really good call. Seth never won a Rumble.
I don't know. I don't think he did. I think you're right,
No,
but
he
I
never won.
think
He
that
won
would
the
be a
Money in the
good.
Bank, but he's never won a Rumble.
That would that would be a good way to like just get that Shield confrontation out of the way
Yeah,
and make that be a big main event run.
and you really haven't seen Seth
He's been gone
since.
since that whole baby announcement thing and whatever. Right after that, when he was taking some time away,
And what if
remember?
that was the reward for having to go through that whole storyline for so long and drag it out for so long?
That Rey Mysterio storyline. The reward for that is, hey, we'll get you a Mania match.
That would be cool. I would
Because
like
Seth
that.
Rollins,
Toph would
he
love
definitely
that.
carried that. He
Brother of the
carried that feud.
brother of the show, homie of the show, Topher McCann, the co-host
So those are my
of
predictions. Those are my
co-host of
predictions.
the
Is
broadcast.
we get a Seth Rollins return and possible win, or we get Kevin Owens win. Those are my.
I was trying to push him, man. I
We're
was trying
also
to
going to
push
get a Booker
somebody
T.
there, and you're just
We're
talking
also
over
going to
me.
get. We're going to get a
Unbelievable.
Booker T. I'm giving that one too. Those are my
Nah,
predictions. But no, I go
your
put Toph
predictions
over
suck.
everyone.
You're only going to
Dude, they
predict.
always do. What
Let's
do
get
you
back to the
expect from
women. We
me?
got off topic from the women's match. Who do you think will win the
Oh,
women's
there's a
match?
win. Bailey or the other
Oh,
one.
that's right. You said Bailey. I could see Bailey, but I mean, it's really my heart that's
I
saying
want
it's going to
Shayna.
us.
I
Yeah,
want Shayna to
you've
win.
been on wanting Shayna.
Yeah, for dude, she's 40, 39, 40 years old, dude. She's fucking awesome.
That's so wild to me. She looks so young for her. I mean, she looks so young in general, but
Yeah, she's
um,
been busy kicking ass all those years. Stayed in shape.
yeah, I I hate to say that I want Charlotte to win so much, but I love Charlotte. I want her to win, but I know
Mm,
she's already won it. It's the same old story.
mm.
But you can't say she doesn't deserve it every single year. um, and honestly, I like the idea of her and Asuka holding the tag titles and doing like Shawn Michaels and John Cena. What WrestleMania was that? 23, 24? Where or maybe 22, where they were like the tag champs going into the match where Shawn Michaels had won the Royal Rumble and they knew that they were going to be facing each other while Cena was the WWE champ.
Barely remember that. That was I took some time off from the wrestling for a little bit.
That was like right when I came back into it in high school for a little
Mhm.
bit. But yeah, I would love to see that storyline play out again with the two of them. And if not, then again, it's wide open. That's another one you could really make a star with. Bianca Belair had a lot of eliminations last year. They can, have her come in and win. Maybe you
Mhm.
bring in an NXT star that you're going to jump up to the main roster and have them be a big deal, like Raquel Gonzalez, or maybe you bring back, oh my God, why am I blanking on her name? She just
Casey
wrestled.
Catanzaro will definitely be in the Rumble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, no,
You
no.
know, and then
Oh
Naomi will
my
be there
God, why
doing
am I
her
blanking
like
on her
Kofi
name right
stuff.
now? The one who had the NXT title match against
Rhea Ripley.
yeah, Rhea Ripley. Why was I blanking on her name?
Uh,
I could see her coming back in and winning and then getting off of NXT and coming to SmackDown or Raw.
maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I think the women's match is. I don't know, man. It just depends on. That's a tough one too. I don't know if they'll do anything. I don't know what they'll do on that one. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know. I really don't know on that one. This year's kind of meh to me. They have not done a good job building for me.
Eh, but I'm looking forward to from here on out though.
Yeah.
What's your stance on the Goldberg situation and everybody hating on, oh, Goldberg's back, so let's all complain about it.
I mean, I don't see the reason why you'd bring him back, other than just
Big name
I don't
match,
know.
give Drew a match with
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Well, is it Drew and Gold? It's Drew and Goldberg,
Hmm.
which is weird because it was supposed to be Goldberg and Roman
Last year, yeah.
last year. So I don't know, man. Goldberg is whatever for me. I could care less.
This
I
is going
never
to
was a big
be
Goldberg guy. I never was a big Goldberg guy in WCW.
right. This is going to
So
be a big big. It's going to be a very quick match, and it's going to be Goldberg's way of putting Drew over. And I can see how Vince could see this as a big match because in Vince's eyes, Goldberg is still such a powerful force because of the way that
mm,
they've written Goldberg since he's come back past couple of times. And I
yeah,
can see it being like Goldberg does hit the spear. Goldberg doesn't even bother going for the jackhammer. He just hits like 3 spears on him and then goes for the pin. Drew kicks out, hits hits the Claymore again, pin, victory. We see like 2 moves and an out, boom. But you get you know, the image of Drew defeating the mighty Goldberg, Goldberg getting up, shaking his
yeah.
hand.
They're really trying to make people like Drew McIntyre, and I just
Mhm.
don't do it. I can't fucking stand him.
Really?
I can't. Dude, I'm so bored. I am
I
so bored
I
with Drew
understand the
McIntyre as a
boredom with it.
champion.
I understand the boredom, and it's such an
He
obvious
is
thing to
the
say, but
most cookie cutter, baby face, generic, just like champion. It's just like his gimmick is he has a Scottish accent. That's it.
but think of it this way: you're trying to be a baby face to a quiet crowd. You know,
That's
like
that's the
it's
storyline writing. It
easy,
has
but
nothing.
it's easier to feel like it's easy to be a heel, but it's hard to feel like a natural baby face. But a way to make that happen is that natural play off the crowd. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? If
oh,
you're
for
watching
sure.
it on
It's more
TV, that
for the crowd.
happens. Yeah.
And I don't know that it would be better with the crowd. I don't know if you'd be a more entertaining baby face if you had the crowd. I still think it would be just like I think it would be even more over the top because like the stupid corny shit that they make him do and say that I just hate. I
I
think they
know.
would be even more like cramming that down my throat if there was an audience there for him to be hamming it up to and being like, oh, or whatever the British or English, Scottish accent crap he says to me, you know.
How'd you feel
I don't know.
about
I
him?
just
How'd you feel about him in NXT?
same.
Oh,
There
really?
was just
See,
nothing to him. His character was just it's just boring to me, man. I seriously don't think his gimmick is anything other than just I have a Scottish accent and I
all
have
right.
muscles.
I uh I would disagree with you as far as the way that they wrote him in NXT. I thought that I really liked him in NXT, but
I mean,
I can see where you're coming from when it comes to like just the
it's
speeches.
bland. It's
That's what it
bland.
is. It's not even promos anymore. They give them speeches to say.
And
and
they're
it comes
bland.
across as speeches. You know what I mean? And it just
Mm-hmm.
sucks. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's
hard.
rehearsed.
It's harder. Like I said, it's harder when you're trying to disassociate yourself from what, or not disassociate, but you're trying to buy into the manufactured content that you're watching and see it as realism.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to do that when there's not an audience there, and when you
Yeah.
can, like, I don't know, man. I think with the Thunderdome, they should just accept the fact that they're going to have a lot of blurred screens when offensive stuff happens, but they should just let it be what they advertise it to be, which is people live on a screen watching it. Because it's become so obvious that
They
it's
only
like
put in people
recordings
that
and
will do
stuff.
what they want. The only, or it's the people that are preferred members that will do what the fucking producer in their earpiece is telling them to do. And it's like, I need you to give thumbs up and cheer, and the people do it, then they'll get to come back.
Yeah,
Oh, we got to boo this guy, and they start booing. They get to come back
right.
instead of doing what you want to do. Now they can control the audience, so
But
they're
half the time,
putting
dude, I
in their
feel like,
people
yeah, but I feel like half the time they're not even showing actual live people. They're just showing recordings. Like
because
my girlfriend, who never criticizes anything, is the sweetest girl in the world. Even
mhm.
she was watching SmackDown and was like, yeah, Roman Reigns was throwing Kevin Owens against the screen in one of the rows, and the guy watching was just standing there like nothing was happening. If it was me, I would have been like, "Wow, this is awesome."
But they don't see that it's hitting their screen either. You know what I mean? They probably don't. It's not like they're seeing it through their computer, like through that monitor. You know what I mean? It's just like they're just watching the TV shot. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's coming at him like it would be if it was in the crowd. So it's not like he's going to have the reaction as if it's right in front of him.
No, I
You see what
thought
I'm saying?
initially, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't initially the thought was that you're watching it from that view, that vantage point of where that screen is?
That's what I guess they people had assumed, but it's not. It's not
I thought
every
that's how
screen.
they advertised it
It's
initially.
just screens. It's not cameras. It's not like they have 600 cameras in the audience playing what, you're not getting the
But
feed from your
that,
screen.
but see, that doesn't seem that shocking to me that they would take that effort, considering the fact that all of the money that they spend on just travel expenses to go from show to show. Okay, well, this is what we're going to be doing for the next year, and we can get a camera that they put in
But then
little MacBooks.
think about how many people you'd have to have a person to direct each camera.
Yeah, but that's what I
You'd have
assume.
to be individually connected to each of those cameras. Yeah, they're not gonna do that. It's one feed.
Okay.
They get the initial feed. They might get a feed that's a little different. They
Yeah, I
might get
see
a
what you're
feed that's a
saying.
little different than the camera feed, but it's one
Right.
feed for everybody. It's one feed for everybody. So you're not reacting to it being like, oh, they're right in my face, like hitting the guardrail. No, they're hitting the screen, but yet you might not even notice that you're the one on the screen because you're looking at a pulled out feed that's really far
Right.
back, and you're like, you don't know it
Okay.
until later when you watch on your TV,
You know,
because they're
I'm
watching.
so glad
Yeah,
you mentioned that, because that's such a technically logical reason for that to be the case. That is no fault of WWE, but that's not something that I would think of, not having like the technical experience that you have. So
yeah.
many
And I have a
fans.
film and video production degree. I have a film and video production degree, so the logistics to have
Right.
it logistically be like, oh, that's like you're sitting there and you get the feed from that shot. Think about how many different. I mean, everybody would have to have there'd have to be one person dealing with that feed
Right.
for every
Right. Right.
person. You know what I mean? And to do the switching and to pull somebody in and then to monitor that. Then so yeah, no, they simplified it and streamlined it as best they could to where it's like they got people they can control, and then they got they loop old footage in too, because they have done they'll reuse people that from old shows, because like with that one chick on Twitter, that Jessie, whatever, that Twitter follower that comments on Fightful all the time. I think she's a contributor or whatever. She was like, they used her footage from like a SmackDown or a Raw in the CWC for NXT while she was watching Dynamite one time. You know what I mean? So it's like they do that also. So it's like I don't understand it. It's just
And originally, because I remember you told me that in private once, and that's why originally I thought that was what was going on, was just bad timing that they have like a recording set up right next to the screen where they're doing that. But
it's the ones in the distance in the
yeah,
background that
but
they're
no,
like,
what?
ah, fuck
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
and
and they'll
what you
put new
said
people in the
makes
front. Yeah, and then they'll
right.
just put old shit in the back, and if they don't want to have to deal with like connecting to all these different people, because it's just it's a lot of work. I'm assuming, because you have to be in contact with every camera, every person on every screen if you're going to tell them what to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like touch in, and yeah, they made it as simple as they could.
Yeah, I feel you. But I'm glad that you
But I
mentioned
do
that,
agree
though.
with you. I do agree with you. Agree with it. It definitely makes a difference not having the live crowd there, as far as being able to get certain people over the way I think you intended on having them get over.
Yeah, but that's such an obvious thing that's been so played out to say over the past, what, 8, 12 months. But
By now, I mean, I can get it at first, you know what I mean? But by now everybody's adjusted, and it's not the, it's what you said. It's not the lack of audience. It's the way it's being delivered. It's
mhm.
the speech, not a promo, you know,
But at
like
the
you were saying.
same time, well, no, yeah, when it comes to speeches and promos, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But I think when it comes to my criticism that I just gave with the screens and the Thunderdome,
Mhm.
you know what? So much of it is just people are just too critical, man. People didn't criticize, like, people always say, oh, the Attitude Era was so much better. It's like, nah, you just didn't criticize it the way you criticize this. You didn't
Mhm.
have an outlet to go on and just be angry about every little thing.
There was, but it wasn't as not everybody had it, because it was in the 90s when, what, 30% or 25% of households maybe had internet. Like one in every 4 or 5 people you knew had like good internet. Everybody had like shitty internet, but it was paid at the
But
time
even
for
the
minutes back then.
even the internet talk back then, it wasn't just everybody complaining about everything and giving their own 2 cents. It was
Oh yeah,
people
yeah, yeah,
hyped up about what was going on and
yeah, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about what's going to happen next. And like that's so much of the reason why people get like disinterested in what they're watching, because their expectations are down, or they're looking at
Mhm.
it with a critical eye instead of just, oh, let me zone out and enjoy what I'm watching, what I'm investing the next 3 hours of my life to do, you know?
Yeah. It's just a mindset this culture has too. Like
Exactly.
me, I watch things to try to enjoy them, not to try to hate them. And I think that's what most people do, is they look
Mhm.
for reasons. They watch something to figure out what they don't like about it instead of what they do like about it. So,
Right. 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 Yeah, absolutely.
but that can be a thing too. Is like I say that, but then when I watch WWE, I'm like, I hate this, because it's just soured me to the point to where, like,
Yeah.
I have a hard time even doing what I say, where I try to find stuff that I like. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Some weeks it's so blatant that it's like it's almost like they're insulting you.
hmm
And you got to remind yourself that you're watching a show that they're at least partially writing for children.
that's the thing too. Is like, that's your when did you first get hooked on wrestling? I was 7 or 8. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
And
And
like we can't
I think that's what most of us do.
yeah,
So at the same time, like, yeah,
and
you're right.
merch
They're not writing it for
sales,
us. They're not writing it for us. They're writing it for
yeah,
our kids.
merch sales are going to be more from the younger age group. You know what I mean? Not the older age group. So when you're not even relying on ticket sales and stuff like that, which even then you're looking for parents that are bringing their kids, more so than you're looking for adults like you or me. But I think,
Yeah.
people forget that. They look at it and like they think that they're professionals because they're criticizing pro wrestling and talking about, oh, they should do this, they should do that. Like
Yeah.
it makes more sense for them to do this. It's like, well, no, because if you were writing a TV show for your age group, maybe you know what you're talking about. But if you're
Well, that's the
worrying
thing too.
about a multi-billion-dollar
Yeah.
corporation and all of the money that needs to be generated for corporate sponsors and investors, then they're going to worry about what age group. You know what I mean? Like, and
There's
people,
also a
like,
variance on
listen, the
what the
people
age
that
group really is.
but the
You know,
people who
because
criticize don't want to remember that because they don't want to remind themselves that they're spending too much of their criticism on a kid show.
the thing is that everybody keeps talking about the demo is the 18 to 49, and that's the prime demo that they're targeting, is the 18 to 49-year-old male demographic, right? But
Is it
really,
though?
it's for yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what they always talk about. Like, we won our main demo, we won our 18 to 49. Like, we might have lost other ones, but we won that demo. So that's what they're going for. But those are really like the ones that make the decision if their kids can see it. If I kind of notice that kind of thing too, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you don't. The parent ultimately decides if their 7 or 8-year-old kid is going to watch something, right? So like, you
And
have
you
to
know,
target that
dude, you know what
demographic
the demo,
to even get to the children, you
but you know
know.
what the demo even matters for? The demo doesn't matter for the
But it's
people that are
marketing.
watching. But it's
It's
not
the
even for
products that they're selling on the TV. That's what the demo is
It's
about.
exactly. It's not just the marketing, it's specifically the advertising, because the people that are watching your show are going to dictate the people that are going to spend money to advertise on your show. And it's not
Which is marketing.
necessarily that, oh, good, we got, a 10% increase in the 18 to 49 demo. So that means that we're going to, see a 10% increase in t-shirt sales because more 18 to 49 saw it. No, they're going to be able to take that back to the negotiation table when they're getting investors and they're getting ad deals, and maybe now they have more of a chance to get a $1 billion car ad deal as opposed to a $500,000 toy spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
or
that's where it
more.
comes in
Yeah,
handy.
more. What's the word I'm looking? Or like a beer commercial
Right?
instead of
Yeah, exactly,
a
exactly.
fucking instead of like a Hawaiian Punch commercial. You know what I mean? Like
Perfect,
that's the fucking
exactly.
difference too. So
But
yeah,
that's really all it matters for, because at
yeah.
the end of the day, the content that they want the people that are watching to come back to, like, yeah, they want people watching from all demos, but they're focused on what are people going to buy and
Hmm.
continue to buy. That's the kind of stuff that they, I think, are spending their time on more than the critical people are giving them credit for.
Yeah.
They think it's all just a matter of bad writing. It's like, no, it's not. It's taking a million things that you people don't understand into account to make sure that you have a thriving business model.
Hmm.
But,
I wanna give a little quick shout out to a friend of the show. You're gonna appreciate this. Hang on.
oh yeah. Oh, hey, kitty. Oh,
The
she's
homie,
cute.
he's sleeping. Where's he at? I can't. I'm upside down now, so I'm trying. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you got him. Look at him just
There he is.
chilling.
That's the homie. That's my buddy Tyson. He's been sleeping, looking at me for like 2 hours now.
I was gonna say he usually just pops on and
It's
makes an
up, yeah.
appearance, but
He usually just jumps up on the counter or the table here and walks around, but today he's not. He's just laying there chilling. So I wanted to at least give him a shout out and give some love to my old man cat.
I want a cat so bad, dude. I'm about to get
Man,
one. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm worried about him. He's old now, so
Yeah.
I worry about him. He's doing this weird breathing thing where I'm like, "Are you breathing okay, old man?"
Mm. How old is he now?
12ish.
I mean, it's not young, but if
Yeah.
a cat's healthy, they could live years longer than that. Do you take him to a
Did you
vet?
notice? If they take him to a vet, they're gonna tell me bad news, right?
Yeah, God forbid. God forbid you get bad news and do something about it, right?
No, I haven't taken him in like a couple years, just because I haven't had a need
Shit.
to. I was about to, yeah.
Well, it sounds
Did
like
you
you have
notice
a need
this?
to if his
Did you
breathing's
notice what I
weird.
framed up? I framed up some
Don't
stuff.
change the subject. Get your cat to the vet.
I framed up some stuff. See this?
I did. All right, now I do see that. I didn't notice it until you pointed to it, but that's tight. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was toying with the idea of buying a Dark Order shirt.
You should buy
They
the
got a
Bradley
few.
tribute shirt
I was
too.
gonna
It's
say the
nice.
tribute shirts are really cool that they got. They got a bunch
Hmm.
on PWT, which you can also check out our store on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yeah. Speaking of
BodySlam.net.
which, let's plug ourselves. I'm not wearing the shirt. I'm wearing a different shirt today. It's not my Body Slam shirt, but it's a shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go
let's
to Pro Wrestling Tees. Buy some shirts, guys. I'd
let's
love that.
plug and get out of here because we've been on for a
Yeah, let's
while.
do it. Where can
But
we find you, Dom?
so check us out on Twitter. I forgot to put it in the handles, of course, but you can check me out at Dom_Mallon, Mallon. You can also check out Cass at Cass Hole, CASSHOOOLE. Also follow us, our Body Slam podcast account at bodyslam_pod, which is affiliated with Cass's brainchild, bodyslam.net. And you can catch
Mm,
us
mm,
on
mm,
Twitter
mm,
as
mm.
well, Body Slam's account at BodySlamNet. But again, go to the website and check out all kinds of good things that we have as far as
Yeah, man.
news and live reviews, things that are going on, and a whole hub of podcast content too.
Yeah, we got some friends. We got some podcast friends that do some contributions on the site there. We got
There's the
your
UK.
boy.
Well, yeah, there's the UK blend on Tea and
Yeah.
Tights with Andy, and then there's my boy, fellow Philadelphian, Topher McCann, that has his Jabroni show with Mike Butler, and in addition to that, he has a whole bunch of offshoot shows, including Notes
Hmm.
on Notes with my roommate Jared Schaefer, and they do a whole bunch of celebrity review albums and one hit wonders and things like that. So
Yeah,
different
it's
twists,
good
but we got a
stuff.
whole bunch of content over at Body Slam in addition to all of the great wrestling content that Cass is always breaking. What else should we plug?
Check
Is we got anything else coming
check out
up?
our Pro Wrestling Tee store. Buy a shirt. Buy a shirt. Body Slam. We have a Pro Wrestling Tee store at Body Slam has a pro wrestling tee store. I think it's prowrestlingtees.com/bodyslamnet.net, bodyslam.net. Spell it all the way out. We've
Just
got a
go to
couple designs up there.
prowrestlingtees.com and type Body Slam in the search bar.
Yeah, that
Boom.
should probably do it too. I don't know.
But here's the
I'm not
most
a-
important thing, guys. Our show sucks if you're listening to the audio. You gotta catch the YouTube because, look,
I wouldn't say it sucks.
No, I
enjoy
would.
our Spotify family and all of our audio listeners. How dare you insult our audio only listeners by
I just like trying anyway by any means that we can to get our
you-
YouTube
yeah.
subscriptions up. So check us out on YouTube. If you're listening to us by any other stream, we record it so you can see the video as well on YouTube at Body Slam Net.
Yeah, just go look up bodyslam.net on YouTube and you should be able to find our channel. It's got Body Slam Net and our little Body Slam logo in it. You should be able to find it pretty easily. But yeah, give us a sub and a
give
like.
us a sub, and if you're new to the show, check out our archive because we have a whole bunch of great interviews in the bank and a whole bunch coming up in 2021. In addition to what I'm really looking forward to, which is going to be digging deep to get some underground people that we can bring on, and maybe some lesser known people. That's always fun for me. So thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for joining us for our first show of 2021. God bless you all, and
thanks
have a
everybody, as always.
happy and healthy January, and start to the new year. And Cass, I'll probably give you a call later.
Boom, boom, boom.
Too sweet me first.
Boom, 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 boom. The push.